This is Hannibal here, and the drone/UAP news continues to develop almost by the hour. As the latest is Lou Elizondo, former head of the Pentagon's program investigating US UFOs, has publicly tweeted to Donald Trump. He says, "Sir, the fiasco this current administration has gotten us into regarding the drones is unacceptable. We have been ringing the alarm bell since 2017. For the sake of the American people, please enable Tulsi Gabbard and the rest of your cabinet to fix this issue once and for all and come clean with the American people. Between Tulsi, Robert Kennedy Jr., and others in your staff, we can do this. I know you share our perspective, and thank you for your courage to address this. Know that you have a small army of former government officials ready to help any way we can. America can handle the truth, and America deserves the truth." Now, it's hard to say. I mean, I would imagine that's kind of alluding that these things are UAPs, possibly visitors from another place, and not that there's some type of black operation going down right now that they're not telling us about. Maybe it is. Maybe that's what he's saying. There's something going on, and we should just be let in on what's going on. You guys can let me know. I mean, that's very interesting. They're putting the president on the spot there. President Biden is still nowhere to be seen. There's people. This administration is looking horrible right now. It's becoming a laughing stock, and it's actually making America look weak. Tom DeLonge, who many of you know from Blink 182, but he's also been involved with many government officials, including Lou Elizondo, over the years, and he does run To the Stars Academy. He's talking about, he seems to be alluding here, and I won't read all of these, but he's definitely alluding that these could very well be UAPs or an unidentified phenomenon. I'm not going to read the document he's talking about either, but I'm going to put it up so people can pause it, because there is a ton of other news. Actually, I'll put his statement up while I get into the other news that I've gone through today. Apparently, there's a Homeland Security guy going around saying that a 15-year-old could be doing this as far as drones penetrating the airspace. At the same time, the Oregon pilot that saw UAPs in the sky, which, by the way, are also having a lot of incursions in Virginia right now. The Oregon pilot that recently the air traffic controller audio came out of that saw 4 or 5 UAPs the other day said he's never seen anything fly like they were doing. And they actually popped up in his traffic avoidance system in the airplane. I mean, there's hundreds of $millions in the budget, and the current administration at the top levels is saying they don't know what the drones are doing. And they have no ability to track them, and it's been weeks. It's almost been a month since this has really got serious. One of the reasons why this could be getting even more serious is because these things could be they may have only sent a few at first, wherever they're coming from, but because it's become so easy for these things to penetrate our airspace, they just keep coming and coming and coming more and more, and they seem to be expanding. The government at the top levels are basically admitting they can't defend our borders by allowing these things to be out there. And many officials are saying, if they're saying there's nothing to be worried about, as the Pentagon has been saying, show us proof that it's nothing. Show us one of these downed drones with unusual shapes and lights and explain to us what they are. If it's true that they claim to have over or less than 500,000 in anti-drone technology, if that's legitimate, that might explain why this is happening. But apparently, and I still don't quite understand this, nothing against Ukraine, but apparently millions have been spent on counter-drone technology for the Ukraine. And a lot of this started when Biden gave Ukraine permission to use missiles. So I don't understand. I really don't know much about that war. I'm just saying that I find it weird that it's almost like they're putting the Ukraine before the safety of Americans as far as anti-drone technology. The military has actually reported incursions over various bases. And one of the reasons apparently they're not allowed to shoot them down over bases or take them down or capture them is because of the authorization laws, which is just weird. Also, for the Ukraine situation, apparently it costs about 30 grand, according to officials, to drop a Russian drone in the Ukraine. So why can't we spend 30 grand to drop at least one of these and find out what they are? It's now showing up that, well, some of these investigating what's going on up there might be from hobbyists. It's likely there's a zero chance the main problem is hobbyists, because this is just becoming too much of a big thing, following aircraft carriers going over military bases. I've heard possibly prisons. These are all restricted access areas. They keep multiplying because they're getting away with it. The interesting thing about the one drone that was caught flying over a California Space Force base just a couple of days ago, that was during the launch of a National Reconnaissance Office spy satellite. And they actually apparently likely captured this before the drone was obtained. And it's like these things can probably relay information in real time. So that stuff would have already been shared with China. The guy was a Chinese national. He was arrested. Congressional Representative Tim Burchett, who said at one point these were Chinese, said publicly that we are failing the test of whoever is testing us right now. There are officials at lower levels asking for a limited state of emergency ban on drones until more info is obtained from the Department of Defense. A lot of people think the DoD is holding back information. Nothing seems to be enforced really regarding the current FAA no-fly zones. According to what some media are saying, I think they had a no-fly zone over Trump National Golf Course and Picatinny Arsenal Base. There's been no news on if anything's tried to fly over those since those no-fly zones have been enabled. It's weird that they haven't put them over more areas that are being affected by these drones to at least get the ones we know are going to follow the laws and obey by the laws out of there, because otherwise they could potentially go to jail or receive a fine if you make them no-fly zones. For people that are saying in the Pentagon there is no evidence of a threat, and that Homeland Security guy earlier today saying that, and these could be 15-year-olds flying these things, this is just insulting to the intelligence. For the ones that are actually displaying weird flying abilities, operating in packs, some of them demonstrating 2 or 3 of the 5 observables of UAPs. Apparently, so what they're saying, it's not a threat. They provided zero evidence of a threat. And anyone can say they're not a threat if they don't have any info on something. You would only know if they're a threat or not if you're able to get info on them other than people's cell phone footage, which they claim is all they have, which seems to be probably unlikely that the military does not have better footage than cell phone videos. Because, I mean, even the Canadian military has very good imagery, and we're not as advanced as the American. I mean, just look at this job application for a geospatial intelligence imagery analyst. Just based on that information of what their job would be, you would think they would have access to better technology than people's cell phone cameras. The former FBI drone director also did a media appearance today. he seemed to be downplaying everything, but of course, according to the FBI, they don't know much. Some people are saying if it was China collecting information, they've already collected a ton of information. There's definitely at this point a lot of stuff going on up there from likely a lot of different places and sources. There doesn't seem to be anyone other than at the very local levels of government acting with a big sense of urgency. That's why we have people like Lou Elizondo trying to plead directly to President Trump